Hi everybody. So sorry it's raining again. I don't know why. Anytime I pick up the camera to record it rains, but that should be a good sign. So today I'm just going to take you through my very first courses that I took for my first session, and the classes come in sessions. So every session is 8 weeks long, and then 2 sessions make a semester. So depending on how many classes you're taking, if you're taking 2 classes per session, then in your semester you would have taken 4 courses to make 16 weeks. Yeah, I think so. 8 plus 8 is 16. So if you're taking 2, some people do take 3. I can only handle 2. I mean, I'm taking 3 this session and it's really draining. So I would recommend that if you're working full-time and you take 2, but if you can, just take 1 and just take your time, because it's a lot. So my first session was NR 103 and Math 114, and that was Introduction to Nursing and College Algebra. So note, I am taking all my courses with Chamberlain, so I did not do any prereqs from community college or Sophia or Straight Line or anything. I found out that information quite late in the program when I had already enrolled, and I would have done maybe some from Sophia and Straight Line if I knew, but I mean I had already enrolled and I was willing to take the risk. So I know people will come for me for taking my prereqs with them, but I had no science background and I don't like to do stuff that I have no idea of, so I decided to start from the basics. So bear with me, I am doing everything, so I'll take you through every single one of them. I think I'm just not taking 2 or so, yeah, but I'm basically just taking everything with them, so just bear with me on that. And we'll discuss that, how to make your cost lesser, how to get some credits and everything. We will go into that, but for now it's NR 103 and Math 114. Those are the course codes or the course numbers. So NR 103 was just like a basic introduction to what the nursing field will be and what kind of situations you're going to come into contact with, especially with I see it as human relations. So how people are going to react, what your response is supposed to be or ideally supposed to be, what the various conditions will be, how you're supposed to respond to the various conditions, and how you're supposed to relate to your customers, to their families. Oh, this is beautiful. I don't know if you can see it, but this is beautiful. We have, oh, that is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so that's NR 103. You're just going to do, it's basically human relations and a little bit about what the ecosystem of nursing is, and how to relate to your patients, to their families, how to understand your patients psychologically, what to say and what not to say, codes of conduct, HIPAA regulations, OSHA, a little bit of everything is in NR 103, just to introduce you and say, hey, this is nursing, so that you know, at least, I mean, have a fair idea theoretically what nursing is about. It's nothing practical, it's all theory what it is about. Math 114 is basic college algebra, so you're having your basic sets and unions and complements and all that. It was just basic. And with NR 103 we did not have any quizzes, there were no exams. You're just supposed to put on your discussion board by Wednesday. You post in APA format, so you're citing and you're giving your references in APA format, and then you're responding to, for my NR 103 I was supposed to respond to 2 people, so you respond to the 2 people before Sunday. So because it's strictly online, you are not really being monitored per se on what to do or what time or but it's all timed. Yeah, it's a period, it's a frame, a window frame that you're given. So you work at your own pace, but it's timed, it's restricted based on deadline. So you have a deadline. If you don't post by that time, then there's a penalty in terms of points. So if you're posting beyond Sunday, then you're going to lose 10 points for late posting, and anything after Wednesday or 3 days after Sunday is 0 points. So everything has to be posted by Sunday 11:59 Mountain Time. So wherever you find yourself, you just convert it to your local time, and then any time after that is 10% less, and any time after Wednesday is 0. That was basically it. Yeah, so that was it. So you're supposed to post on your discussion boards. Recommended posting day is Wednesday, and then you're supposed to respond to 2 people. That is for NR 103 by Sunday. And then we had PowerPoint presentations that we did, and then we had we didn't have any RUA as they call it, but it was just your post, your discussion, and then you have weekly papers that you write. So in a week you're supposed to do your discussion board, your 2 responses, and then your weekly assignment paper. That will be about 1.5 or 2 pages in APA format with your margins and your spaces and everything, well cited, well referenced, and quotations and everything. So you just have to refer to your APA formatting. And then one thing that helps you would be Grammarly. So if you can afford and subscribe to Grammarly, you'll be able to format to meet the APA standards, and you'll be able to check your plagiarism, because they're very, 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 very serious about that. So you can also check plagiarism on that. You can check plagiarism as well on another software that they have in the Canvas that they call Turnitin. So if you put it in Turnitin and it's anything more than 24%, you have to go back and like either rephrase or rewrite or whatever it says to get it below 24%. Anything beyond 24%, it's going to raise a lot of red flags, and you're going to have an email from your instructor or your professor or whatever it is. So you put it in Turnitin, refresh the page after you submit it in Turnitin, about 2 minutes, and then Turnitin will give you your scores. You can go through, find out which phrases or which sentences are highlighted, and you can rephrase, you can either delete it, anyhow, to get your marks to come down. So after you do your edit and everything, you resubmit it, you run your scores, and make sure that you are below 24. I always say that if you can, just be between like 10 and 15, and then you'll be on the safe side. That's for Turnitin. I have never written a discussion on math, but you literally have to write one for every week on math, 1 month 4. So you do your discussion. I think we had 2 exams and 2 quizzes on this math. So the quiz is like as many attempts as you can take, and then the exams you had only 2 attempts. So for the quizzes, you can take it as many times as you can to make sure you get 100%. I don't understand why you wouldn't take it as many times as you want to get 100%. But for the exam, you can only take it twice. So you take the first attempt. It's not really going to give you your score, your point in terms of detailed marks to know where you had the wrongs and all that, but at least you have another chance to take it again. Now on that score, the math I'm taking now, I have a wonderful instructor, which we will discuss later when we get to the math I'm taking now. And then she's so wonderful. You can go into VCAS, which is like a page on the Chamberlain website, where you have like tuition or tutoring assistance, and you can go under algebra, and I'm sure you would be able to reach other tutors to make like you understand more, give you more resources to help you. The help is there with Chamberlain, and it's one of the pros that I would detail with the online program when I do the pros and cons. There's so much help that you cannot fail, but then you should know that you are learning by yourself. So you're teaching yourself, but the help is there. Like the videos are there, the information, the resources are available for you to reach out to someone to help you if you don't understand anything. So you can literally sign up and get like a whole 1 hour lecture from a tutor on any topic that you don't understand So even though you're learning on your own, you can still have that one-on-one session with other people coming in. That's like the group tutoring session that you can sign up for, and then go in there, tell them what you need help with, and they're going to take you through, so you don't feel alone. You are not by yourself. So we will get into that. So for math, you do your discussion board, you'll respond as well. I think math was like one person, so you didn't have to respond to two people, and you are explaining whatever you do, your 1+1 and everything. You're explaining, so you're not just putting down numbers, you are explaining whatever you're putting down in the math. So it was my first time writing like a detailed explanation of a math problem, but I mean, as you continue to write it week 1, week 2, you get comfortable with it, and it's easier for you as you go ahead. Now, one thing that I found out later, I mean, it wasn't too late, but I found that out later in statistics, that we'll get into when I get into that session, and how that was. It was really difficult, but we were able to pull through with an A. So I found out that with Newton, if you have a good lecturer, based on who you have, you are able to recover some of your points on Newton, on the courses or the assignments that are given in Newton. So if, let's say in week 2, you did your assignment on Newton and you had like a 7/10, a 7/10, 10/10, 10/10, 8/10, whatever, you could go back in week 4, and then on the 7/10, the 8/10, you can still go and finish the work, because a 7/10 might be because, let's say, you did just 70% of the work, and that's why you did not get a 10/10, which is 100%. So you can still go in and continue to do the work and recover those 3 points. It's still going to show late on your Canvas shell. I mean, on your grades, when it's submitted, it's going to be late, but hey, you are going to get your 3 points, you're going to get your 4 points, you're going to get your 2 points. And remember, every point matters, because Chamberlain does not round your point, and you need a 76 to pass. You need a 76% to pass. If you get a 75.9899, they are not going to round it up to make it a 76. You are going to fail the class, and you would have to pay thousands of dollars to take that class again and get a 76. So every single point matters. So you can always seek permission from your lecturer, your instructor, go back into Canvas and recover as much points as you can with permission from your instructor. Ask permission before you go in there, because some of them can even penalize you if like you don't seek the appropriate permission to go in there. So please take note, when you are taking math and you have Newton, seek permission, go back in there and recover, because as a working mom, sometimes you're not even able to go into Newton and do your work. You're able to get through them, let's say over the weekend, and you're trying to run through a whole lot of them that you are like 70%, you move on to the next one, because the more time you're wasting, the more you're leaving the others undone. So you just seek permission, go in there and then do it, and make sure that you are on top of your classes, on top of your submissions. I don't do well with planners, like physical planners. I'm terrible at that. I will just leave them in the car or leave them somewhere that I would not even remember. I can't carry them everywhere I go. So I just make sure that I put everything on my phone, and make sure that you're on top of it, because you could easily forget. So immediately your course is uploaded, just go into your files, go into your schedule. You will get everything in there. On your modules, you know your deadline, you know your submission date, anything. Just put everything in your phone. Everything, so that you're on top of whatever you're doing. So that was it. NR 103 and Math 114. It was not difficult. I had a little bit of a problem with NR 103 because I wasn't used to like submissions. I didn't know what I was doing. Now, whenever you are doing any submission, read your rubric. Make sure that whatever assignment you're doing answers every rubric request. So your rubric is showing you what the expectation of your lecturer is. So what I do is I go into the rubrics. I first look at the question and make sure that whatever I have put down answers the question. So if the question comes in 4 parts, I take that one part and go like the US elections were held on November 4th, blah 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 blah, and January 6th happened and people went to the capital and blah blah blah. So first part is US election was held on November 4th. Go into my essay and check, do I have an answer to the US election being held on November 4th or November whenever it's held? Yes, I have an answer to that. Then I go back and say, oh, and the capital and the January said whatever in the capital. Go back into my essay and check, do I have something that answers that question? Yes, I do. Then I move on. So I take the question step by step and go through my essay and make sure that it answers that question that has been given to me that I'm writing on. Then I go back to the rubric and check exactly what the lecturer is looking for in that answer that I have given. So if the question, let's say my answer is saying yes, elections are held on November 4th, but the rubric is saying that the student is able to indicate when the elections are held, give some detailed explanation on what the process is, and whatever. The rubric is more elaborate on what the lecturer is expecting to see in the paper. So if I go back into my answer or in my essay, and my essay just says the election is held on November whatever, but does not explain, let's say, the process during the elections, or maybe the rubric is asking for the process before, during, and after the election, then it means that I'm going to lose points, or points are going to be docked for me not meeting that rubric requirement of explaining the processes before, during, and after the election. Even though the question is just asking about the election, the rubric is requesting for something more than what the question is asking for. So always read your rubric. Make sure that your questions are well understood and your essay answers the question and matches the standards of the rubric, so that you can earn as much points as possible. So NR 103 beginning, as I said, my first 3 weeks, it was a little bit tricky because I did not even know what a rubric was. I didn't even know where to find it. Like, I was just going and reading the question and going pum, putting an answer there and on. And then first week I lost points. I lost like 8 points, and then the second week I lost another 8 points. I'm like, and so the first week she said, you did not, the answer, you did well, but it did not answer according to the rubric. Please check the rubric. I'm like, oh, what is this thing? So I went to this page that I joined online, a Facebook page, Chamberlain Nurses, I think it's Talk and Chat. It's a wonderful group. If you're ever coming to Chamberlain, I advise you to join that group. Read it's so much information. You do not understand the information there. Like, everything you ever want to know will be there. Before you post anything, just open that page on Facebook and go into the search engine and type in whatever you have an issue with. You will definitely find someone had asked that question before, and you would get the answers from past to present, whatever. I say it's past, present, and future, because every single thing that you need is there. You want a review on a professor, trust me, someone has already asked about that professor and someone has answered. It's a very good way for you to dodge like terrible, horrific professors, and it's also an opportunity for you to also give heads up to people who are also going to go into it, so that they don't face, let's say, a terrible situation with the professor that you face. So it's a good resource. I went in there, typed in rubric, and I saw all the reasons. I'm like, damn, I'm not losing any points. So I mean, that was what tanked my grade to an A- for NR 103. Other than that, maybe your sis could have made an A, but hey, we are aimed to pass, and that's the most important thing.